Welcome to another episode of Should You Take That Case with your host, Lisa Wade, your friendly neighborhood legal nurse consultant, owner of Wade Nurse Consultants, and creator of our private LinkedIn community, the Attorney Medical Record Resource Group. That is where we get all of our stellar attorney guests. The goal of our show is to be a resource for legal professionals who pursue medical cases by sharing their experience and insights as defense or as plaintiff attorneys. You can catch prior episodes at www.wadenurseconsultants.com/blog, on LinkedIn and on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. Now here's the host of Should You Take That Case, Lisa Wade.
Hello, everyone. Happy Medical Record Monday. That's what we call it. And welcome to a brand new episode of Should You Take That Case? And it is me, your host, Lisa Wade, your friendly neighborhood legal nurse consultant, owner of Wade Nurse Consultants. And visit us at wadenurseconsultants.com when you have tons of medical records that you need translated into normal human language. Visit us there. But I'm not only the owner of Wade Nurse Consultants, I am the creator of our wonderfully private LinkedIn group, the Attorney Medical Record Resource Group. That is where we get all of our stellar attorney guests. That's where they're coming from. And we're using this as an opportunity to get to know one another. And we'll be doing that today with attorney David Arreguin from California. But before we get David out here, we want to just say hello to anybody that is catching us live. Scoot over to the comments section, even if you're catching on the replay, and put an A into the chat if you're an attorney. Put a P if you're a paralegal, and put a W if you are a part of a wonderful group that I am a part of, Women Owned Law. We want to see you and say hello to you, because Women Owned Law, it's a wonderful, groundbreaking group connecting and advancing women legal entrepreneurs, but with the primary mission of empowering women lawyers to achieve success in the business of law. It's a wonderful group. Visit us over at womenownedlaw.org. If that sounds interesting to you, we'd love to have you. Now, I just want to thank everybody who has taken time out of their very busy days to take a listen to us. And I'm going to bring out our guest who's going to introduce himself today, because my voice, it may be a little scratchy. So we're going to let him tell us all about himself. And here you are, David. Welcome.
Hey, Lisa. How are you?
I'm well, a little scratchy in the throat. I think it's that smoke down from Canada that has affected me. So that's why I'd like you to tell all the folks about you. Introduce yourself for me.
Yeah, of course, happily. So as Lisa mentioned, I'm a California attorney based in San Diego, California. So, right across the border from Mexico. We have an interesting practice here because of that. But mainly, I'm from San Diego, went to school in San Diego, went to college in San Diego. And we practice personal injury throughout California. So we do have cases throughout the state, but of course, primarily San Diego.
Oh, excellent. And the name of your firm?
It's called Bankers Hill Law Firm.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
Well, we're going to talk to you and dive into eventually the topic, which is the topic every week, medical records and how they creep up in these cases you have. But tell me a little bit more about you and how you got into this area of practice and what you love about it.
So it takes me back to like 2013 when I was actually the marketing and business development person for the firm, this same firm, Bankers Hill Law Firm. And back then I got very involved with personal injury and started working more on the legal side as well, not just the marketing and business development. And then I was going out to events, meeting all the doctors. So I started engaging, the personal injury side of the medical things and got very interested in it. Once I got into law school, I thought I was going into law school for business, corporate law, but I realized that I enjoy litigation and that I knew personal injury pretty well. So I decided after law school to continue my path on personal injury and, assisting victims, and especially those people that are not able to, fight for themselves after an accident.
Mm. It sounds like you found your vocation. You tripped over it.
So I did. So I focus a lot on personal injury and consumer law. Again, it's always the victim that, needs the voice out there. And that basically just needs the guidance for, moving through these difficult cases and difficult times during their life. And I'm happy to assist with that. So yeah, I mean, I've been in the field for a few years now, as a marketing business person and then as a lawyer. Of course, I enjoy more of the things on the lawyer side, but I mean, we're doing this show, so I also enjoy the marketing and the business development.
Oh yeah, you know all about that. That's you know them, I guess, more than most attorneys.
Well, we had our Instagram live a few weeks ago that you were very, very nice to attend and be a part of it. So I thank you for that.
Well, you made it easy. You really did. Well, let me just ask you a little bit more about those personal injury cases that you've been working on. What factors go into deciding if you should take some of these cases, or if they're cases that maybe you should refer out, or if a case isn't really a case? How do you decide that?
So a lot of times it has to do with our expertise, right? We want to make sure that we're going to be able to handle it internally. I'm happy to have my mentor here, Maxwell Aga. He's been practicing for over 30 years, personal injury, and I can say he's a master of it. He's a great, brilliant mind. So a lot of things that I do, a lot of times I read out from him and see, okay, this is something that we can take. For example, for medical malpractice cases where it's not our focus, we do partner up with some other attorneys that's the only thing they do. But from the beginning, we got the case and we want to make sure to reach out to this person, reach out to the experts and see if we have a viable case. At that point, we'll determine if we take it ourselves, if we refer it out, or if we refer to someone else who can, help this person who is in, urgent need. So that's one of the things that we focus on. And also, the type of injury, the mechanism of injury. So a lot of factors go into it. And we like to meet with the clients from the get-go. That's how we determine if this is a case that we're gonna take or not. I'll meet with them, for example. I'll take them to Google Maps. If it's a vehicle accident, for example, I'll take them to Google Maps. And then I'll tell them, okay, show me how it happened. And then I'll actually ask them to show me what happened. What happened to your body when you were in the vehicle? What happened to your body when you fell? So I just want to get very, very deep into the injury and the mechanism of the injury.
Mm-hmm. All right. It sounds like you're very thorough.
So again, back when I was doing specifically the marketing and business development, I was training our people to do the intake process. So from that experience, now I meet with the clients and I put that experience from the past now as an attorney, and I know exactly what to ask and when it needs to be asked. So and that's from the beginning, so that you can address the issues, the medical conditions from the beginning, so that you can guide them through the process.
Right. Now when you talked about medical conditions, and what about when those medical records start rolling in, pouring in, sometimes thousands and thousands of pages? Do you have a specific routine or process for dealing with those records and getting the most information out of them?
Yeah, so we have a great case manager. She's been with the firm for over 20 years. She's an expert on it, especially on delegating the work to our staff so that we can go through these records. And then at that point, when I have a report on them, the attorneys here, like Maxwell, myself, we can have an actual record of what happened, a chronology. And at that point, we can get it on a demand letter. However, there's instances where these medical records are just enormous and it's hard to go through them. And that's when someone like you comes in, to be able to go through that and actually explain to us what happened and what are the injuries and all these dates that come in, the codes. It's funny because I was meeting with one of our law clerks. She's assisting with the personal injury side of things. And she came in during the summer and she was interested in learning how to go over the medical records. And of course, at the beginning, she was a little bit overwhelmed because she saw all these records. She actually printed them out. And then I'm like, well, there's going to be at one point that you're going to be able to print those out. There's way too many pages and it'll be just easier to read from the computer. But she pushed through and she prepared a very good report for us. And I applauded her for that. And then after that, she was a little bit less stressed because she was able to realize that it was manageable. But I told her that there's experts that focus on these type of things. So we don't do this all the time. And but it's an interesting process. We have it down to the dot. And when we need the experts, we just bring them in because we are going to need them in the future, and we are going to need them throughout the case. So that's sort of like the process that we have right now.
All right. Well, that's good. Eliminating printing out all those, save a tree. Don't print these pages. Right.
Yeah, it's too bad already in the legal community, I guess at one point, firms are trying to be paperless. I'm not sure if that's going to happen anytime soon, especially because of the court. The courts will still require all this paperwork. They still require fax sometimes. I don't really know why fax exists, but
oh boy. Well, I have a friend in New York, Stephen Haber, who has been paperless for 20 years. So he may reach out after he hears his name and reach out to you and let you know it's possible.
Yeah. So I do go paperless with my consumer cases. And that includes like breach of warranty, breach of contract cases. For those, I am paperless. Okay. For personal injury, that's a little bit more difficult. So I definitely need to talk to him in New York.
All right. Well, yes, be sustainable. All right. There you go. Well, now, what, if anything, do you find, or do you have any pet peeves that you haven't mentioned, something frustrating about dealing with these medical records as part of your cases?
I was actually talking to my case manager last week on handwriting. So some doctors still do the handwriting, and it's an important aspect of the case. So we got to sometimes decipher whatever the handwriting is about. I think that's what stresses my case manager the most. And then after that, so that goes to me. It's like, can you help me out? What is he saying here? The other thing sometimes is just when we order the records. And a lot of times there is a lot of paperwork that it's not relevant to our case. Unrelated medical records that we still got to sort through and realize, well, this is not related to this injury. This is not related to the aggravation of the injury. And this is not related to this accident. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times we get all these medical records from an office. And unfortunately, it sort of, wastes our time sometimes. The other is, let's say, like chasing bills and records. And you probably hear this pretty often. So, a lot of the offices now with, technology have become better at expediting this process. Mm-hmm. I met with a doctor last week on Friday who was telling me that his turnaround time is 1 day. And I'm like, oh, really? So we definitely got to work with you. And I think what he did is he started moving more again into technology. And he's saying like AI is going to help with that at one point. But moving into technology allows him to, have more people in his office that can help with the technology and send the reports 1 day after. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to see how that works. Because apparently what he did, he left the prior office because he wanted to move more towards this direction on which he expedites the process of when attorneys get the records.
All right.
That was very interesting.
I'm anxious to see how that's going to affect things too.
Yeah.
So, you have given so much good information, so much advice. You've got such a wonderful background. I'm just trying to see, is there anything that you missed that any advice that you want to give to veteran attorneys or newbie attorneys when these medical cases come up? Any more advice for them?
Yeah, of course. I mean, one of the things that you got to do is really, deep dive into the injury, the mechanism of injury. I think a lot of times, especially as a newer attorney, you miss some of the things, or maybe miss some questions from the beginning that are going to help you understand the medical records.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, just reach out to the experts. I mean, it's you guys, nurse consultants, doctors that can help us understand. We are the experts on the legal field, on the legal side of things, but you guys are the experts on the medical side. And we definitely got to work together to determine exactly what happened and what's going to happen in the future to this person, especially for like future medical treatment when we go into like a life care plan and all this. So I would just say, if you can meet with them from the beginning so you understand their injuries throughout the process. And then, of course, you're going to have your, assistance from case managers, paralegals. But as an attorney, I think it's important to know of this injuries from the beginning so that we can track and monitor the records and the reports. So that would be my advice. That's something that I've learned that's helped me throughout my career, and it's helped me with, just getting acquainted with the client from the beginning. And I know a lot of times it's hard because it's, the practice of law is time consuming. And what we always say is, what do we sell as attorneys? We sell time, right? So we gotta be very, very. So we just gotta be very practical about how we address this. So I think the practicality of meeting with them from the beginning, I think it's ideal.
Yeah, it sounds like good advice. Keeping track of the people,
Exactly.
actual person. So
Exactly.
that's good. All right. Well, it is the time in our show where it is time for a little Q&A. If anybody is watching us live, uh, are you ready to answer some questions?
Sure. Yeah. Bring them on. Yes.
All right, excellent. Well, while everybody is getting their questions together to put them inside the comments or the chat box, get ready. And David is going to answer those questions. But while you're getting them together, it's time for what I call a commercial break to let you folks know what we do here at Wade Nurse Consultants. And then we'll be right back to David. Now, everyone is not always completely clear about what legal nurse consultants do, so I'll make it clear for you today. At Wade Nurse Consultants, it's all about review, research, and roadmaps. When we review medical records, we summarize and translate that information into normal human language, easily understood by judges and juries. When we research, we complete medical literature searches regarding topics attorneys may not be familiar with, and we locate testifying or consulting experts. And when we create roadmaps we do that for your injured clients in the form of life care plans, detailing your injured clients' future medical needs over their lifetimes, including estimated costs for that care. To recap, legal nurse consultants at Wade Nurse Consultants, for us, it's all about review, research, and roadmaps. Now, schedule a 15-minute medical case strategy call by clicking the calendar link inside the comments box in the description box of this YouTube channel so we can chat. And now it's time to get back to David and the Q&A. Are you ready, David?
Ready.
All right, let me take a look inside the comments box. And do we have any questions yet? No. No, but that happens sometimes.
Of course.
I have a way to deal with that. What I do is I put your contact information inside the description box of this YouTube channel. So
Perfect.
Anybody catching us on the replay of this show can visit there, get your contact information, and reach out to you themselves. Does that sound like a plan?
That sounds like a plan. I mean, happy to assist anyone with any California-related questions.
Oh, I know some people have had those questions. So I hopefully they will reach out to you and ask them. But even though I don't see any questions coming up for the Q&A, I have one question for you, David.
Of course.
Will you come back and do this again?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, my background is in marketing and business development. So I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy to come back, and maybe we can do another Instagram Live at one point as well.
Oh, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. All right. Well, since I don't see any questions live today, I think we're going to wind up for now. And let me just give you folks out there a little reminder to like this YouTube channel, to subscribe, and tune in again next week. And if you have any legal nurse consulting questions, you can reach me at lisa@wadenurseconsultants.com. But just tune in again next Monday, 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for a brand new episode of Should You Take That Case? And we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming, David.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching and listening to another episode of Should You Take That Case with your host, Lisa Wade, your friendly neighborhood legal nurse consultant, owner of Wade Nurse Consultants, and creator of our private LinkedIn community, the Attorney Medical Record Resource Group. That is where we get all of our stellar attorney guests. The goal of our show is to be a resource for legal professionals who pursue medical cases by sharing their experiences and insights as defense or as plaintiff attorneys. You can catch prior episodes at www.wadenurseconsultants.com/blog, on LinkedIn, and on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel and sharing this show with others.